Yes, indeed. We back at it. B Marsh Boxing. What's happening, y'all? Post fight review. Terrance Bud Crawford versus Kell Brook. Kell Brook, he was doing well in the first two rounds. The first two rounds were close, but I did give it to Kell Brook. You know what I mean? They were both trying to dictate the range. Both of them were fighting from the outside, which is a pace and a range that favors the man Kell Brook more, fighting from the outside rather than fighting from close or mid range. You know what I mean? That's more of a Kell Brook suited him more. You know what I mean? He was landing the jab, a vicious, stiff ass jab, which is, in my opinion, Kell Brook is one of his best signature punches. Is his stiff right jab, left jab, catching the man Bud Crawford with the jab, throwing the straight right hand, lead right hands, and also jabs to the pit of the stomach. You know what I mean? And the first two rounds, I gave it to the man Kell Brook. Very close rounds, yes, especially round two, but because they were both doing a lot of feinting, a lot of posturing, a lot of dictating the pace. You know what I'm saying? Then round three, the man Bud Crawford switched to the southpaw stance. You know what I'm saying? And that's when the fight changed. You know what I mean? That's when the fight changed because Bud Crawford now is putting hands on the man Kell Brook, you know what I'm saying? Fighting from the southpaw stance, pumping out that right jab, you know what I'm saying? Throwing that lead left, whether it's to the stomach or to the head, or throwing the left the counters, he would have the man Kell Brook throwing the lead right hand. Terrance Crawford would be evasive with the defense, and then he'd dig in with the right hook into the stomach, you know what I mean, into the gut. Nice body shots and those counter punches, especially to the body from round three, were really taking a toll on the man. And, round four was the beginning of the end. You know what I'm saying? The man, Terrance Crawford, fighting from the southpaw stance, catches the man with the lead counter right hand, which is his strong hand, which is now a jab. But when he switches stances as a switch hitter, it's more of a power punch, even though it's a jab. And it catches the man coming in, Kell Brook, and he gets rocked with that right hand, almost goes through the ropes. Referee gives him his standing 8 count. Fight resumes, but Crawford jumps all over Kell Brook and puts hands on him, throwing a barrage of punches. Tony Weeks, the referee, stops the fight. And I'm gonna keep it tall with y'all. B Marsh Boxing, I like Bud Crawford, I do. But that was a BS stoppage. BS stoppage, man. When is somebody gonna knock out and beat this man Kell Brook really and truly and put him flat on his ass? Did the man Kell Brook hit the canvas tonight? Not at all. Yes, indeed, he got a barrage of punches, especially that long lead overhand right from the southpaw stance. He wasn't throwing nothing back. Absolutely, he wasn't throwing nothing back. But at the end of the day, man, I wanted to see a fight, man. Kell Brook looked good for the first two rounds. Round three, when Bud Crawford switched stances. Let me listen to the post-fight review, y'all. Hit that thumbs up in the meantime while I play this post-fight review.
I was trying to gauge the distance. He had good distance, and I was trying to find my rhythm in between, getting my distance together. And, that's why it was so competitive.
That's what I've been said from the post-fight. The distance, the range. Don't come in here looking at me, man. Just hit the thumbs up video. B Marsh Boxing giving you the post-fight review round by round.
I know that you always talk about having to excel the expectations for you. Well, you did tonight because it took Errol Spence 11 rounds to beat him, and you did it in 4. Does that mean anything to you? Not at all. It was different fights, different, years and whatnot, but Kell's a tremendous...
Taz Bud Crawford has had 8 consecutive fights by way of KO. I told fellas, man, his power has moved up, coming all the way from lightweight, stopping legitimate welterweights. Now, that don't mean he's going to stop the top-tier welterweights, because as we all know, Bud Crawford, till this day, has not fought any legitimate, I'm talking about top of the top-tier welterweights. Bob Arum.
And I mean this. Spence and Garcia are fighting December 5. If they really want to make a big pay-per-view, I'll put Terrance Crawford's head with both of them one at a time, and he beat both of them the same night. He is far and away the best welterweight in the world. He goes back to the great welterweights like Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns. He would have been competitive with them. The welterweights around now are not competitive with Terrance Crawford.
And Bob, you know that what made that era great is that everybody fought everybody, and you were able to make the fights with the heavyweights, Deontay Wilder and Tyson.
Woo!
Will we see Bud in the ring with Errol Spence in the near future?
Errol Spence will try to avoid Terrance Crawford as
Woo!
long as he can because he knows he can't beat Terrance Crawford. You saw the performance tonight. I mean, he'll take out Errol Spence in about the same number of rounds like he took out Kell Brook.
My man talking crazy tonight, boy.
Written this week in terms of your future.
Oh, well, I'm looking to secure a Pacquiao fight. We was close to securing a Pacquiao fight prior to this fight, but being that the COVID, was getting out of hand, the fans couldn't attend the fight, so we had to put a halt to it, and that's when we decided to go with Kell Brook. He was the next available known welterweight.
No matter what Bud says about Pacquiao, now he's saying he's trying to secure a Pacquiao fight.
We know that with Pacquiao, it's money. Bob, is it all there for this fight to finally happen in 2021? I know Terrance just wanted it, you wanted it.
The money was there. It had been committed. It was a fight that was going to take place in a country in the Mideast. And then the Minister of Health in that country said, you can't do it because I can't guarantee that we'll allow spectators. And it would have been this week. So he was right. Now they've called us and they said if Terrance is successful, we want to resume the talks and see if we can do it in the spring, either before or after Ramadan.
Let's go to the Middle East.
Let's go.
Thank you very much, Terrance.
All right, you heard Bob Arum, Terrance Crawford speak. A few years ago, Terrance Bud Crawford said, man, he don't care nothing about Pacquiao. Let me hear Kell Brook.
You look real good, then all of a sudden, what happened?
This is boxing. I obviously got caught with a shot I didn't see. And the referee waved it off, I've never
Kell Brook
before, but I've always said if I'm in a fight and I'm going to lose, I'm going to go out of my shield. And, the referee obviously seen that I couldn't continue, so the fight is over, So I don't like to lose on an injury and stuff like that. If I'm going to lose, then I'd rather lose out of my shield,
Kell Brook didn't throw no punches back whatsoever after he got his standing 8 count. So the referee going to stop the fight. I'm just upset we didn't get to see a fight. I wanted to see more.
What was different, or was anything different about Terrance Crawford?
I can't, even though I've been beat by him, I can't sit here now and say he beat Spence, he beat Paul, because styles make fights, but one thing he has got good distance.
Kell Brook.
He's got fast hands, obviously, and he's got a good eye.
The special one, Special K.
Shot, so it'd be very interesting, he's definitely, because that's never in my career, nobody's ever done that to me in sparring or anything, so... Obviously, it's different weight I was gloves on, but it was one of them, I got caught with a shot I didn't see. And, the fight's over. I'm gutted, because I am... Nobody could have got me in a better condition. I was bang on the limit on the scale. I felt great, maybe the problem would have probably been me. I could have been a bit more...
All of the lights.
Being a bit more loose and let the shots have got off more, and then I would have got into my rhythm, believe it or not, but... The fight's gone the way it has, and that is that.
Look, you look pretty good. You came in shape, obviously. You faced them both. What's the difference between Errol Spence and Terrance Crawford?
They're both really good, even though, I've got nothing against any of them, I couldn't really sit here now and say because I've seen...
What the deal, K-Maz? My nigga Chris, what the deal, my G? Salute, my guy. Long time, bro.
In America,
all is well, man. The man, Terrance Bud Crawford,
we're a bit, behind the time, so
gets himself his 8th consecutive KO.
I You know, even though he's stopped me tonight, Terrance, I can't sit here and say he would do that to Spence or he'd beat Spence. You know, it'd be a fight still that everyone needs to see.
I understand that, but you're rich in experience and talent, and you saw something and you wanted this fight. How was it different?
He wanted a payday. That's what he wanted. That's why he came back down to 147. You know, the fight really, this wasn't no fight. I didn't get my value for entertainment, albeit free on ESPN. I wanted to see a fight. You know, Kell Brook is past his prime, in my opinion. Third loss. You know, but if you look at Terrance Crawford's right eye, his right eye's busted up. It's swole. Guess from what? That stiff-ass jab from Kell Brook. You know what I mean? Now, Kell Brook got a little welt under his right eye, too, but he's a little bit more brown-skinned, you know what I mean? Terrance Bud Crawford is a dark-skinned brother, but you could see the swelt on his eye. It swole a little bit, you know what I mean? The man Kell Brook came to fight in the first 2 rounds, but when Bud Crawford switches, be on that switch hitting, switching stances like Marvin Hagler, he got caught with that right, and that changed the dynamics of the fight. One punch changed the whole fight, you know what I mean? Bud Crawford did his thing in there, you know. Like Bud Crawford said, like after I said it, the pace of the fight was favoring Kell Brook in the first 2 rounds because Kell Brook is a master of fighting at long distance, you know what I mean? It would favor Bud Crawford more if he's more in the mid-range. But Crawford realized from the southpaw, from the orthodox stance, it's going to be hard to get past that stiff-ass jab from the man Kell Brook. He switches to the southpaw stance. He got to keep his lead foot on the outside, and that's where the range is now closed. You know what I mean? The range is closed, and Bud Crawford now can get closer to the target. And from the right hand, that's the jab hand, he clocked that man with that kind of sweeping right hand. It was like it's a jab, yes, but it's almost like a right cross. You know what I mean? And just clipped that man. That man damn near flew through the ropes, but he was still on his feet, got his 8 count. But he ain't throw no punches back, and I'm kind of upset this fight ain't go past the 4th round because I'd put some money, man, for this fight to go. I'd put some money on 4 options. I put it on, was it 4? I hedged my bet. I had this fight going the distance. I had Bud, no matter who wins, I'd have won some money. I had Bud Crawford winning on points. And I also hedged it with Bud Crawford stopping him in rounds 5 through 8 or in rounds 9 through 12. Now, if you know anything about Bud Crawford, since he's moved up in welterweight, he's stopped or knocked out every opponent he faced, starting with Jeff Horn. What was that, a 9th round stoppage? David Benavidez, he stopped him in the 12th. Amir Khan was stopped in the 6th round. And Kavalauskas, I believe, was in the 8th round. You know what I mean? So Bud Crawford had shown at least a pattern, you know what I'm saying? A pattern of stopping his opponents in the later rounds. And goddamn, if this motherfucking Tony Weeks stopped the fight in the 4th round, man, all I needed was this fight to get stopped in the 5th. I'd have got some paper tonight, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. You win some, you lose some, you know? Let me read the chat one time. What the deal, Mike 104? Salute. Thanks for coming through. He says, Crawford, right jab from southpaw. Had like Anderson Silva power. Yeah. That one punch changed the whole fight. What's happening, Mike? Woolpants, what's up? He said, Bud too good. CMD Boxing Report says, I still got to give it to Brook because he put on a game until he got caught. Absolutely. Yeah. But then you got to give Bud Crawford credit, too, for making the adjustment. Because if that fight if he fought at orthodox and just letting the man, Kell Brook, dictate the range from fighting from the outside, this was going to be a difficult fight for the man, Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? CMD Boxing Report says, hit that like button, everyone. Salute, man. Thanks a lot for that, man. Hit the likes, hit the thumbs up, y'all. Hit the thumbs up. K Med's in the house. You already know. Mike 104 says, Kell Brook had no legs after that jab. Crawford was gonna be like Mike Trout playing T-ball if they didn't stop it. Yeah, he didn't throw no punches back. You know, he was getting caught with, this was now, he was taking a beating, like, you know what I mean? Like a street fight. Oof, that overhand. But Crawford's right eye, I don't know if I've seen his right eye in that fashion. You can see he bleeding too. His right eye swole. But Crawford said they don't know how strong I am. K-Med says we need Crawford versus Spence ASAP. You already know that's the fight to make in boxing. I think that's the best fight to be made right now in boxing. We'll see how the man Spence looks next month in December versus Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? We'll see how he look. It's going to be a good fight. A lot of people sleeping on Danny. But if there's any chance or possibility of anybody beating Errol Spence, the time is now. Coming off of that accident, the time is now. Mike 104 says Brook came down to 147 because the punches at 154 would have for sure sparked him or cracked some orbitables. Yeah. He was a mandatory for guys like, not mandatory, but he was in the rankings for the WBC, a few of them sanctioning bodies at the what you call it, at 154 pounds. But he didn't look like he had any interest of fighting for a world title at 154. Man, he got the spaghetti legs from that right hand that caught him. All right, where we at? Natty Turner. What's the deal with Natty Turner? Wagwan. Natty Turner says Errol needs to handle his business in December. Spence stops Crawford, in my opinion. Whoo! I got Bud Crawford winning that fight. Me personally. I got Bud. I don't know about stopping. I don't think any of them going to stop anybody. That's the fight where Bud Crawford's KO streak, 8 in a row so far. That's the fight where his KO streak will end. You know what I mean? But we shall see. Anything's possible, you know. I consider it a 50-50 fight, but I'm more leaning towards Bud Crawford. I think Bud Crawford's skill set is the best in boxing. Not now. I've been thinking that for a while, that he's the best pound for pound. Zell Demps says, Bud will be a tough fight for Spence. Absolutely. And Spence will be a tough fight for Bud. That's a fight to make in boxing. Best fight to be made. World McCray, what the deal? World McCray? He says, Bud did that already. Mike 104 says, what up, Nati? My homeboy told me he got Spence as well. I still need to see how Spence looks after his accident to be certain. Me too. And that's why I said if there's any chance for anybody to beat Spence, Danny Garcia got the first crack at it. You know what I'm saying? And Danny Garcia right now, Danny Garcia ain't never been washed by nobody. He has how many losses? The closest I've seen him getting washed or looking very just terrible wasn't even in his losses. It was in a gift decision he got against Mauricio Herrera in Puerto Rico. I had Mauricio Herrera winning that fight 8 rounds to 4. You know what I mean? The Sean Porter fight, I thought Danny Garcia won that fight. Keith Thurman, I had Keith Thurman winning that fight versus Danny, close 7-5. How many losses he got? I think that's it, 2 losses. So we shall see, man. Will McCray says Spencer's getting stopped in that fight. Woo! I don't know about that. But if Bud stops him, goddamn. Either or vice versa. You got Bud stopping him. Natty Turner got Spence stopping him. Time will tell. Time will reveal. That's the only thing that we know that is guaranteed in due time if this fight happens. Will McRae says guaranteed in capital letters, like Rasheed Wallace and Charles Barkley be saying. Guaranteed. Will McRae says none at 147 sees Crawford. I think he the best too. But what's his name? Errol Spence has fought better opposition, no question. At 147, got himself 2 straps. Yes, indeed. And sure enough, he's fighting 2 guys. He's fighting Danny Garcia, who fought Keith Thurman, and Sean Porter, who also fought Keith Thurman. So if Keith Thurman's done, as far as being that dude, Spence got the 2 straps, but he ain't faced Bud Crawford yet. Robert Cray says no one thought Bud was going to stop Brook. He did it in 4. He stopped Spence guaranteed. No doubt in my mind. Natty Turner says it's a 50-50, but I see Bud getting caught first. Well, Spence got the stiff-ass jab. Definitely got that good jab. Southpaw. Bud already switches stances too. We shall see which style will favor him in that fight, whether he'll stay in the orthodox or switch stances. Bud Crawford, in my opinion, has a faster hand speed and the better footwork. You know what I'm saying? Because the Sean Porter fight is where it showed me a whole lot about Errol Spence's footwork. Now, I had Errol Spence winning that fight. You know what I mean? I did. Comfortably. I don't know what people be talking about. Sean Porter won that fight. Like the man Sean Porter ain't get caught, get clipped, and hit the canvas. Anyways, but Sean Porter's footwork, how he was cutting off the ring and just on some real cutting off the ring, getting to the body, that was pretty impressive by Sean Porter in that Spence fight. And Sean Porter and Bud Crawford are not the same as far as volume punching that Sean Porter displayed to the body. But Bud Crawford is vicious to the body. You saw him tonight. Kell Brook was throwing them lead right hands. Lead right hands, almost like pull counters, you know what I mean? But not necessarily countering. He's just pulling the lead right hand. Bud Crawford evaded it, and then he digs into the body with the combination. Right hand to the body, dig into the body, and the left hook on his way out. I like them type of combinations. Those type of combinations break opponents down, you know what I mean? You check it because when a guy is missing a big-ass punch, lead right hand, left hook, whatever, and then you leave your torso wide open like that, after missing the punch, that takes some steam off of you, not to mention the body punches, you know, it's a nice combination, you know what I mean? Ward McRae says Crawford only been in the division 2 years though. Ward McRae says Brook has the best jab in the division, better than Spence. But Bud figured out Brook's jab. Yeah, he did when he switched stances. But before that, when he was in the orthodox, he's getting his eye busted up. Look at Bud Crawford's eye tonight. Man, my man was bleeding out that right eye. And it's swollen. You know what I mean? You check it. You know, that's what we go. You know, some people, man, well, in a few months, they're going to be talking about this fight like Bud Crawford was beating the shit out of Kell Brook the whole round, the whole fight. That's what people do. You know what I mean? I was just talking with the man Chris Caban. We was talking, and I was like, the way people talk about Errol Spence versus Kell Brook, it's like Errol Spence was whooping his ass all through 11 rounds. That was not the case. You know, that was a great fight. Very intense fight. And I remember that fight going into the 10th round. Now I had it 6-4. You know what I mean? Because it was tied after 8. I had it 4-4 after 8 rounds. You know what I'm saying? I only gave Kell Brook 4 rounds in that fight. You know what I mean? Now, round 9, it was 5-4 in favor of Kell Brook. He finally got the little edge. Round 10 is where he fucked him up, and that's where the beginning of the end started for Kell Brook's eye. Round 11 is where he finally quit. You know what I'm saying? So that fight was still in the balance. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just like they're gonna be talking about Leo Santa Cruz and to Javante Davis. Like Javante Davis wasn't getting pieced up in the first 2 rounds, especially from distance with the flush 1-2s. You don't believe me? Just look at the man's right eye. The right eye or the left eye will tell. You know what I'm saying? That man Leo Santa Cruz was busting him up with the jab. Look at Tank Davis right eye, just like Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? We gotta put things in perspective and in the right context of what happened. And Bud Crawford was definitely down 2 rounds to zip in this. Um, Neutral Naturals, they got the watching emoji. Salute. World McCray says facts. I noticed that. World McCray says, nah, it's gonna be Kell's usual story. He was winning the fight until he was beating GGG until he was beating Spence, until he was beating Bud, until you ain't never lie, man. That's what it's gonna be with this man. You know? Ramon Morales says Canelo versus Crawford is the next big mega super fight. I'm gonna ignore that one, man. I shouldn't have even read that one out loud. Roman Morales says Kell was winning till Brook. Mike 104 says LOL. Oh Lord, come on, man. Come on, Roman Morales, man. Where you come up with that one from? Don't nobody want to see that, man. We want to see Cannoli versus Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Bubu Andrade, not Bud Crawford. Robert Morales says, yo, you know it could happen in 2 years. I hope it's not for the sake of boxing, you know what I mean? But yo, big ups to everybody in the chat, man. About to call it a night. What time is it? It's 12:39 Eastern Standard Time. Big ups to everybody in the chat. Ramon Morales, World McCray, he says, fam, did you see Bud look straight at Aaron when he asked what's up with the Spence fight? Absolutely, he did. Yeah, he looked right at him like, what's up? And the man, Bob Bam, started talking crazy, saying these welterweights ducking him, this, that, and the third. Whatever, man. It takes two to tango. If they both want to fight each other, they'll fight each other. Up until then, Bud Crawford, what's his name? You know, I don't like all this Pacquiao talk for Spence or Terrance Crawford. Fuck that shit. Like I've been saying even before Floyd Mayweather said it. Leave that man alone. Y'all chasing an old man. Fight each other as young guys, you know what I'm saying, in your primes. Manny Pacquiao's not in your prime. You know what I mean? Manny Pacquiao is 40 plus years old, man. You know what I'm saying? Manny Pacquiao don't got to fight you guys now. Now look, the winner of a Bud Crawford versus Spence fight has 3 straps. WBO, WBC, and IBF. Great. That's when the winner of that fight should be able to fight Pacquiao. That should be the Super Bowl. Pacquiao's more popular than both fighters, does more pay-per-view numbers. Pacquiao is a global icon when it comes to the boxing world. There's many people on planet Earth who don't know who Spence and Bud Crawford is, but they know who Manny Pacquiao is. That should be the ultimate Super Bowl. And that should be Manny Pacquiao's last fight of his career. Personally, I'd like for him to have been retired. Got nothing else to prove in boxing. He beat Keith Thurman, which was a great W. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people thought Keith Thurman was going to win that fight. I knew he can't beat Pacquiao. He just ain't got the moxie to beat a Pacquiao. He don't. Got to watch fellas' track records. But that's the real Super Bowl. And these motherfuckers, Crawford and Spence, they want to go fight in the Super Bowl before going through a playoff system. And the playoff system should be Spence versus Bud. Winner of that fight, because neither fight will make him a global or a household name. The winner of that fight with 3 straps fights Manny Pacquiao for undisputed. Man, it's simple, man. If boxing was so simple, it's easier said than done, but that's what it should be. You know what I mean? Mike 104 says, see ya. Ramon Morales says, that's why they call Pac-Man out. The exposure. Yeah, well, fuck that. Y'all ain't earned the right to fight Pacquiao. Because y'all ain't fighting each other. Look at what Teofimo Lopez did at the age of 23? Go look at what Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard fighting each other at the ages of like 23. Bud and Spencer 30 plus, man. Fuck that. Y'all ain't trying to fight each other, then you don't get Pacquiao. That's what should be. There gotta be some kind of incentive for them to fight. Otherwise, these guys gonna be ducking each other, talking about that side of the street, promotional politics. Man, boy, please. Bob Arum is the one who spoke for Crawford tonight about, Spence, they ducking him. Yeah. Man, at this juncture, I don't care about none of that. That's the fight to make in boxing. Mike 104 says Crawford should bring a blanket for Pacquiao because he's for sure going to sleep, like Marquez did to him. I don't know about he going to knock Pacquiao out. I don't know about that. That fight with Marquez, these guys been in the ring with each other 4 times. That was the 4th time. They knew each other in and out. That man timed him with the perfect counter. You know what I'm saying? In a fight that fight was going vicious. It was going so beautiful, so dramatic. Even before the knockout in round 6. I don't know. I don't see Manny Pacquiao getting knocked out no more at this juncture of his career. Maybe stopped on his feet, but put to sleep like that, I just can't see it, man. I can't see it. Will McCray says, great idea. Bud can fight Pac or Spence can fight Pac till they both fight each other. First eliminator. That's what it should be. They fight each other, then you get to fight Manny Pacquiao in a farewell fight for Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Yes, indeed. But big ups to everybody in the chat. Will McCray, Mike 104, Ramon Morales. Big ups to Zell Demps, Nati Turner. My guy K Meadows, salute to K Meadows for sure. CMD Boxing Report, salute to all y'all. B Marsh Boxing signing out. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Bud Crawford retains his WBO welterweight title. Peace.